Kevin, do you want to lead us in prayer?
I will. Bow with me, please. Father God, we thank you for this day. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to live in such a great country. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to serve this county. Lord, I pray that all the decisions we make be the right ones for this county, and most of all, bring glory to you. I ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call Morris County Fiscal Court to order, April 8th, 2019. First on the agenda, under guest, Brittany Heath. Good morning.
Good morning. I wanted to ask the court's approval to pursue a new splash pad surfacing that I've come across. The biggest problem that we have with our splash pad is that it's just a straight concrete surface, and they do reseal it at least once a year, and whenever they seal it, they have mixed in sand and thrown out sand to try to have a little bit of a grip for the kids, but it wears off really fast, and it's a pretty big slip hazard. We have a lot of kids that slip and fall. So I have found a product called Tough Coat, and it is a paint type material, but it does have recycled rubber mixed in, so it is a non-slip surface. And the best part about it is it comes in lots of colors. So we're actually going to design a really fun, very abstract type area, paint it with these colors plus one other blue that I have picked out. Once we do this, or actually before we do this, we will seal all the cracks and anything that is currently in the concrete, and then this will last 6 to 8 years. So we also won't have to reseal the surface every year, at least once a year, like we're currently doing. This will last 6 to 8 years. The colors do coordinate with the current splash or water features that we have in the splash pad. If you guys want me to bring this over so y'all can feel this.
Do they have you say it lasts 6 to 8 years. Is there a warranty or anything, or do you?
That is an estimate. It's specifically made for water featured areas, so it should last 6 to 8 years. So the total estimate that I was able to get, everything start to finish, and this is for preparing the concrete, applying the material, all in, we're looking at about $6,400. But then again, that will last us several years. Currently in our sports operating account that the park has, our balance as of today is $20,179.27. So with the court's approval, I would like to pay for the splash pad surfacing from the sports operating account, and it will not affect our budget in the general fund.
Make that motion.
Second.
We've got, I know there's a motion on the table, something that you guys are probably not aware of. The Fiscal Court is actually the Parks Board, so that's why we've got that on the, we put that out to have the meeting. We'll recess and go into that meeting, I believe at 10:30. We can go ahead with the motion, knowing that the Fiscal Court is fine with that. We're the same body. We're going to go into the Parks Board meeting at 10:30 to discuss some other financial accounts, and this is, we'll explain it more in detail during that Parks Board meeting. But I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. That's one of your other duties as being a commissioner, is that the Fiscal Court at this time is we are in charge of the foundation. So, and Brittany and I, we had talked about that. So just so that you guys know that. So the Fiscal Court basically is, if we're going to stay with that motion, is going to approve it. Then we'll go into the board meeting, and the board meeting, which is going to be the Fiscal Court, will make the same discussion. So is there, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
And Brittany, won't you stick around?
Oh, okay. I'll stay right here.
Well,
Oh,
I mean, no,
just stay
yeah,
right there.
just stick around.
Yeah, just stay right there the whole time.
We're trying to get all that organized, and today is the end of the tax season, so the CPA firm that we've got is going to be able to carry that out. So it's all timing, and it's a juggling act right now, so. We'll move on under correspondence. LaDonna Correll, the E911 director. Won't you come on up, LaDonna? We're going to jump ahead on new business. Employee wage increase. Do you want to update us on that?
Good morning. I've got a couple of things on there. One of them is a pay increase for Cosanna Snyder. One of the dispatchers, it's a 16-cent per hour increase. And this is something I've already talked with Emily about previously.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And the second thing I have is to bring on another part-time dispatcher. It's Chesley Thomas at the rate of $15 an hour. And like I said, it's just a part-time
So
employee.
move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
We're also, is that all that you have? I've got LaDonna's letter of resignation, so I'm going to read this. I wanted to do the business first before we got into this. Dear County Judge Executive Kevin Neal, please accept this as a formal notice of my resignation from the position of Director of Marshall County E911. My final day will be Friday, April 12th, 2019. After much prayer and consideration, I have made the decision to resign in order to accept the position as a training specialist at the Four Rivers Nuclear Partnership site in West Paducah, Kentucky. This has been one of the most difficult decisions that I have ever had to make. In the past year and a half, I've had the honor of serving my home county, and I'm truly grateful for that opportunity. I honestly feel that I am leaving Marshall County E911 in a better place than when I arrived, and because of that, I was able to make this difficult decision. I appreciate your support and all that I have done, and I am grateful that you trusted me to do what needed to be done in some very extreme circumstances. I wish you and the staff of Marshall County E911 continued growth and success in the future. The employees of Marshall County E911 are some of the finest people I have ever worked with, and the citizens of Marshall County should be proud that they are the ones answering their emergency calls. Respectfully, LaDonna Correll. We do hate to see you go. I know that we all understand an opportunity that you have, and we are definitely grateful for the work that you have done. You know, the PSAP of the year, that's a testament for leadership and the employees' hard work. I know it's a hard decision for you to make, but we want to congratulate you on your new opportunity that you have.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything that you've done for us over the past year and a half.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have anything you want to say?
If I can.
If you can.
Pretty much everything was said in the letter, but I would like to publicly thank all of you as the Fiscal Court for the support that I have received. I couldn't have asked for anything better. And specifically, you, Judge Neal, and Brad, I have appreciated everything that you guys have done for me, because without your support, the things that happened down there wouldn't have happened. So I said I experienced the very worst day of my life in this job, but I've also experienced some of the very best, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're not done with you. We're still gonna.
I'm here through Friday.
We're still gonna put you to work tomorrow. We've got
Yes.
interviews tomorrow, and LaDonna and the sheriff are on the interview panel. So we're gonna keep working you until the 12th.
That's perfectly fine with me. Thank you.
Thank you, LaDonna.
Thanks.
Okay, one more item. We've got it on new business, but it should have been under correspondence. Fair Dealing Olive Fire Department Board resignation. So I want to jump to that real quick. This is from Terry Carbrall. Dear Judge Neal, several years ago, I had the honor to be appointed by you to serve on the Board of Directors as homeowner representative of the Fairdealing Olive Fire Department. I swore an oath before you and took it seriously to uphold the oath to the best of my ability. Regrettably, in the last 2 years, there has been 3 different fire chiefs, several board members, turnovers, and an unprecedented amount of internal firefighter turmoil, and spending that makes its operation tenuous and my continued service too stressful. I can honestly say that I now have no confidence in the direction that this fire department is going, and feel it is time for a fresh look at its operation, one that is more conservative with people's tax funds. Please let this letter serve as notice that with a heavy heart, I respectfully resign my position as a homeowner representative with the Fairdealing Olive Fire Department effective immediately. I have confidence that you will appoint a person to replace me that can come in with fresh eyes and ideas that hopefully can help right the ship before it's too late. It has been an honor to serve and give back to my community. Respectfully submitted, Terry Carbrall. So that's a resignation for his term. I have an individual, Savannah, where's my list at? Well, where'd he go? Okay, it's not on there. Let me try to pull it up. Okay, yeah, you're right. Savannah Futrell is my appointment. So if there is a motion to accept Savannah
So
Futrell.
moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Old business, approve the minutes March 19th meeting.
So move.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We get to the RFP Municipal Advisory Services. Does anybody have any questions? That was Compass and Ross Sinclair.
Get all mine answered, so.
We're good. Does anybody have we've got 2, we got to choose from who we want to use as our financial advisors.
I move we choose Ross Sinclair and Associates.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go on to new business. I know Autumn's got some business to attend to, so Autumn, you want to come up and give us the animal shelter new hires?
I'm going to need to hire 2 new people, part-times. I've got one who's been a volunteer for years, and she's done a lot of photo taking for the shelter. She's been volunteering nonstop, I'd say, for the last 2 months on a weekly basis. And she would like a chance at the part-time position, which is just holidays and weekends and fill-ins if we're on vacation. Her name is Elizabeth Langham, and I don't have another one yet. I need to start taking applications for another one. But both my other part-time, she got a full-time position in Paducah, and Lehman, he just wants to be as needed.
Okay.
It starts at $10.21 an hour. I want to see if she can start this weekend. She says she can, but
Okay.
of course I need you guys to approve that.
All right. Is there a motion to accept Elizabeth
Move we
Lamb?
accept-
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks.
Thank you. You guys got the report that she gives? Okay. Let's see, under new business, item B, ordinance 2017-03, the 911 emergency telephone service enabling ordinance amended 4/8/19, first reading. So this is the second reading. You have that, Jason? Dez was on vacation, so I'm not going to say it.
Holds it together. Okay, so this is, it's just one little amendment. Basically, this was the request of Kentucky State Police to clarify that the NCIC Link computer system is under the control of the sheriff. So just one minor little change to the enabling ordinance, and that's under section, let's see, it's section 2C was the one that we're amending. It says Criminal Justice Information System Link NCIC. Management and control of the Criminal Justice Information System Link NCIC shall be the responsibility of the Marshall County Sheriff in accordance with Criminal Justice Information Services security policy. These duties include but are not limited to ensuring management control agreement and the policies and procedures incorporated therein, adopting additional policies and procedures if necessary, not in conflict with minimum required security policies. And number 3 is the new language here, complete control over personnel who operate the terminals with respect to discipline, hiring, and termination in regards to CGIS, Link NCIC, and 4, keeping the Marshall County Fiscal Court informed of any issues that may arise with CGIS, Link NCIC.
And that change, basically, there's been some sanctions on 911 centers. So the ordinance that we had passed, actually KSP didn't have that. And so we are basically, by their request, adding that so that we'll be fine, we won't get sanctioned, so. Did I say second? Okay, that's the first reading. Under new business, item C, library board appointments. Let's see, my appointment would be Jessica Lovett to, let's see, I'll read this. Dear Judge Neal, since the term of Carla Darno of the Marshall County Public Library Board of Trustees will expire on April 30th, 2019, we hereby submit the following names for your consideration in filling this vacancy, a new 4-year term. So that would be, my appointment would be Jessica Lovett to fill that vacancy.
So moved, Judge.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I do want to bring up an administrative, or not an administrative, but more of a correction to our minutes. Not a correction to the minutes, but correspondence from the sanitation district. Mr. Turner, who was originally appointed to a 1-year term by the board. The board sent us correspondence last court meeting that his term had expired. The actual ordinance that we created by creating the new board, that position was supposed to be a 2-year term. So it wasn't a expired term, it was basically a resignation. So to state in our minutes, his term was a resignation, which left Tyler to fill the remaining term of that 2-year term. So have that reflected in the minutes. So Tyler will not be on a 4-year term, he'll be on a 1-year term with the resignation of Mr. Turner. Let's see. Item E, Health Department contract, lab work for health fair. Brad, you want to update us on that?
This is just something we do on a yearly basis. It's a contract that we sign with the health department to provide the lipid and glucose lab services at $50 per lab. That contract does not exceed $9,991, but that's all built into our wellness program line item. So it's budgeted dollars, but it is a contract, so we would need approval for that signature.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Bid advertisement, annual.
This is, again, something we do every year. We just need, what we do is put out a general advertisement in the paper, notifying people that we're gonna be taking annual bids. And they can come to the judge's office and get a list of all items they can bid on. So we just need that approval for that advertisement. What we plan to do is open those, they'll still be sealed and stamped, but we're gonna open those outside of court and present those bids to you. Generally, we've done it in court and it's a mess. I mean, opening all those and it takes a long time, so, but this is just the approval to advertise for those bids.
Motion approved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is the Johnson Creek Water Line Extension. We had a meeting with some of the board representatives last week. They are going to do a project, and the engineering cost for the project on Wilkins Road and Highway 402 is about $9,900. Last year, the Fiscal Court approved $80,000 for a project for Johnson Creek, and there's about $11,400 that were not used. So they were asking the court if they could use roughly 10,000 of that 11 for this line extension on Wilkins Road.
So move. Let's get them paper water out there.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, item I, KIA drawdown request. You should have that information in front of you. Is there any questions? If not, we just need a motion to approve.
Move we approve.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion accepted. Item J, KIA request to use residual funds. This is what we discussed last court meeting. We did contact KIA, and I spoke with the engineers, and what we identified is the PLC we can request. Now, the board, KIA board, is still going to have to approve this request, but the PLC for the sanitation district can be put into this, we believe. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. We think it fits their narrative for those dollars. The bar screen does not. And if you remember, I think that was Lindell found a quote for about $15,300, and that's something that we can fund locally. But as far as the KIA request, this is it. This is also to pick up, which does fall in KIA's narrative. They like to see treatment plants, private package plants taken out of the system and having those residents put on a sewer system. So you'll see in this request, it's both the PLC and the Memorial Gardens Trailer Park that take them off of that private system and have them put on the district system. So that's what the request is going to be for those contingency dollars. The funds requested is about $335,000. So we would just need approval or a motion for approval on that KIA request.
Motion approved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Rivercrest contract modification. If you look, because of the use of those funds, we're going to have to modify. This will be the second modification. Um, We're going to have to modify their actual request. You got that pulled up there, Brad?
Yep.
Okay. There it is.
Basically, it's the same language that's in the residual fund request, changing the contract 1 and 2.
So it shows the, what we just approved, it shows their service for that.
Modifying the engineering contract.
So this is not the extension of calendar days. Is that included in that too? Don't see it on that, but it's at the bottom of that one page where it was showing no increase in
No
money,
increase in
but
mon-
does
Yeah,
that need to be
Yeah.
included in?
You talking about May 31st for the
I don't know,
current,
it said
for the current
Extend
project?
by 45 calendar days or something like that.
Is that the current if it's the current project, they put May 31st, and then the administrative, finalizing administratively would be December 31st. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, it just has down at the bottom, an extension by 45 days, but it didn't say.
on the residual fund request.
Yeah, on the residual fund request. I just didn't know if that that was approved within that.
One of the forms has the actual date, May 31st.
This is change order number 3 is what it shows on that time extension.
Can you go back up the top of that, Brad, please?
Yeah.
Do we need to get the contract signed by the landowners prior to on dealing with the abandonment of the
Well, the
current package plant?
the current package plant, we're not going to be responsible for
Okay.
that. Yeah, and that's a great question, because that's going to be on the private landowner. So they will be dealing with EPA, not us.
Okay.
So KIA likes to eliminate those types of plants. So, because I asked the same question, and the advice given to me was, we don't want to take ownership of being responsible for that plant being dissolved by EPA regulations, so put that on the private owner. But they are going to tie in, basically, we're going to bypass that plant and tie the district, tie that trailer park in. But that will be on the private landowner to follow EPA's regs on shutting that thing down. Let's see if I can't find this. One of the dates, to answer your question, one of the forms that's being submitted has got the actual date for the project to be completed, May 31st.
Yeah, it's the residual loan fund request. 9, it's still 5/31/19. Second page. No, I'm sorry, it's on the first page. Sorry, not first page.
Yeah, right there in front of me. So May 31st, so it's on this one.
So the 45 days was, originally it was middle April, and now it's gonna be in May.
Yeah.
It's not 45 days from May 31st, that's the new date.
Yes, this is the new date
Okay.
because of the work that's going to be performed.
Okay.
So that's Rivercrest contract modification because of the residual loan funds that we're requesting and the work to be performed. If there's not any other questions, we would just need to.
Move we approve the modification.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Surplus sanitation truck. One of the things that we did, I think it was last year, the road department had an old truck that they weren't using. The sanitation district they didn't have a vehicle, so we used one of the old trucks for the sanitation district. And one of the PMEs on the vehicle, they identified that the frame of that truck is rusted in half, so it's been taken off the road.
Thanks for the help, Wendy.
After a couple of years.
So, in the process of that vehicle, we're gonna surplus, but we're gonna put on the, we're gonna notify, that the frame is rusted in half and we do not want this vehicle out on the road. And we'll probably look at putting a salvage title on it. Basically, it'd be good for parts. So,
Hopefully, whoever buys it's watching this
Yeah.
video.
and I think we're gonna do it on
Make no
Gov
warranties.
Deals.
Gov
yeah,
deals.
If that's okay. If the
Yeah,
board
if that's
approves.
what we want to do, just.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
If we just want to put it on Gov Deals and be done with it. We don't have a need for it.
So move.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We've already done item M, appropriations transfer.
I only have one that is pulling from reserves. The rest are departmental transfers. Well, no, there's one in general and one in road. The one in general, goes to cover what we will get back from the Homeland Security grant for the ambulance, the equipment for those, stretchers. So this just covers that line item until that money comes in. When that money comes in, we'll amend it in, and it goes back into reserves at that point to replenish that. We also are asking to move out of road reserves the amount for the fuel monitoring system. We have gotten in $26,000 worth of insurance money that we still have yet to amend in. So when we get that amended in, that could replenish this draw from reserves also.
And I think that is something that you had asked this morning, Kevin. We had discussed that. We approved the fuel management with the contingency that we find those dollars, and I think that we instructed the treasurer to report that to us. So that's where those monies are going to come from.
Yeah, you'll see that in the amendment coming in.
Wendy's happy. If there's no other questions, appropriation transfer, we just need to approve it.
So move.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. This, with all the training that you guys have had, this is with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet to participate in the rural and municipal aid program. We have to approve this. This is the County Road Aid Cooperative Program Agreement for fiscal year 2020. So we run this through court with a resolution. We get approval from the fiscal court. We got till July 1, so we're going to go ahead and approve this. And then we'll get that submitted to the Transportation Cabinet well in advance before July 1.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item P, payment of the bills. Hang on a second, before I get ahead of myself, do I need to read that resolution, Jason? Okay. Let me just read this. This is a resolution with the Transportation Cabinet on the rural municipal aid funds for FY 2020. A resolution adopting and approving the execution of County Road Aid Cooperation Program contract between the Fiscal Court and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Department of Rural Municipal Aid for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2019, as provided in the Kentucky Revised Statutes, and accepting all roads and streets referred to therein as being a part of the county road system. Be it resolved by the Fiscal Court that the Fiscal Court does hereby accept all roads and streets referred to in said contract as being a part of the county road system, and the Fiscal Court does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said contract, and does hereby accept said contract, and by such acceptance agrees to all the terms and conditions therein stated. And the county judge executive of the county is hereby authorized and directed to sign said contract as set forth on behalf of the Fiscal Court of Marsh County, and the county clerk of Marsh County is hereby authorized and directed to certify thereto. So we got the agreement. Why don't we take action to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Apologize for getting that out of order. Item P, payment of the bills.
Motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. If we can go into, get a motion to go into recess.
What about that road name? Did we, were we taking that off?
Yeah, because
Oh,
there's
okay.
one landowner that lives on the road that didn't sign the petition.
Oh, okay.
And to my understanding, all landowners have to sign the petition.
Yeah, have y'all had a chance to review that road name resolution?
I didn't see.
It's a resolution that the fiscal court passed, it's been a while. And it's just a resolution, so if y'all want to make any changes to it, you think any changes need to be made on procedure or substantive or in either way, just let me know and we can look at that.
Yeah, and that's not a bad idea because we do have some old resolutions that, I had a gentleman come in this morning that is a signee on that, that wants it changed, the way it's written right now, because one landowner that lives there, we can't do it. So if we want to look at that, as far as making, reviewing it, we'll give you a copy, review it, and if we want to make changes, we can do that. Just know the way it's written right now, it's odd years that, we've had some resolutions, that I think we've had, and Des has had waiting for the fiscal court for over a year, but it is an odd year, so we still have time to review that. So if y'all want to do that, we'll get you a copy of it, and okay, we'll do that then. But we need a motion to go into recess for.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to go ahead and call the Parks Foundation Board to order. And yes, good question. Yes. 10:30? Okay. Since we're in recess,
It was public notice for 10:30. You need to.
we've got 20 minutes, so we'll take a 20-minute break. We'll go ahead and call the Morris County Parks Foundation Board to order. And we've got a few financial discussions, issues that we're going to be discussing. Brittany, you want to go ahead and start us off?
Okay, I gave you guys a packet. We're not going to discuss everything that is in the packet, but I wanted to give you guys some things that you can just look over on your own as well. So the first page that you have there is our account statement. In our foundation account, our total is now $46,953.52. The second page shows our sports operating account as of this last statement. The ending balance is $20,179.27. Oh, sorry, I'm like a walking Benadryl commercial today. Okay, the next 2 pages that you're going to see, if you skip ahead, there's an old financial report in there that is from October the 3rd, 2017. That is the last financial report that I can find that we have access to. So that breaks down kind of where we were as far as income and things like that at the park were at that point. The other page that you'll have is from our new software that we have. We ran a report, broke that down by what things that the park have brought in, what amounts. One thing I want to point out there, we've started our new sponsorship campaign, and we are still accepting sealed bids for naming rights to different facilities at the park through the 23rd of this month. That combined with our other sponsorship opportunities that I created through signs, banners, website advertisements, and things like that, we're doing really well. If you look at that old financial report, that was in October 2017, and in that calendar year, so 9 to 10 months, they had brought in $1,050 in sponsorships in a 9 to 10 month span. And in the last month and a half, we have already brought in $1,158.33 so far this year. So I have set a goal for myself of $20,000 to raise in sponsorships this year, and I should be on track to hit that goal that I've set just for myself. So that's kind of an overview of where we're at as far as revenue and sponsorships at this point.
I just want to say something real quick on that. For everyone that sat in on those interviews, this is exactly what we wanted from the Parks Director. So we applaud you for
Thank you.
executing on what your presentation was. So I just
Thank
want
you
to give
very
you
much.
that.
Doing a great job.
Thank you, guys. The next thing that you're going to see in there is a quote from Contech. As most of you know, I think some of you, I know most of you have even come out and taken a look at it, but we've had a lot of issues with Bloody Shin Creek that runs down there by the soccer fields. It has eroded out after the flooding. It has now eroded out to the point where we have conduit exposed there by soccer field number 2, and it's a big mess. So we've roped that off and won't allow people to get into that area. We had 2 different engineering firms come out to give us estimates, and unfortunately both were way out of our price range. So I did find an alternate solution. Wendy and I have talked about this solution. It's through Contech. It is Ajax is the material that this is called, and I will pass this around. You can take a look at what this option is. Basically, it's a concrete material. They fit together just kind of like Jax would. So you're getting more of the price point towards riprap or something like that, but it's not going to wash out like riprap would, and it looks a lot better, more uniform. So this would allow them to come in and line that section of Bloody Shin Creek with these Ajax, and then backfill to cover the area that we have lost to erosion. And this same company also gave us a quote for this sheet piling that we had talked about using out there at one point, but their guy said that he would go this option over the sheet piling. He feels like for that area, this would be better suited to what we need in that area. I have turned that in on FEMA. Hopefully, I'm not sure where we're at with that. And I know Brad's also checked with CAECO to see if possibly our insurance might kick in and cover some of that damage as well. But with the exposed conduit, we're at a point where we really need to get something done there at the creek.
Yeah, and I just talked to Kurt. When he comes back in, he can expand upon it. But right now, where we're at regarding FEMA, just like Brittany said, Brad's corresponded with CAECO. We're waiting to see if CAECO, under the insurance, will cover it. FEMA will cover the, the deductible. Thank you.
There we go.
FEMA will cover the deductible. If the insurance company, if CAECO's not going to cover it, then Kurt said that the FEMA will do it, but we may have to do an emergency resolution. So we can, whichever route, we do have some options to take. So we just want to update the court on that, or the board on that.
So those are my my big things there. There's some other things included in your packets that you can just look over whenever you have time. If you have questions about any of those, you can holler at me. Is there anything else specifically that you wanted me to touch on or talk about?
No, Kurt, while you're in here, we were just discussing what we were discussing as far as the emergency resolution. So you want to explain that to everybody?
Actually just had a phone call with my KYM guy there concerning the FEMA funds. First, we had to find out on the insurance side of it. If insurance pays it, FEMA will possibly reimburse the deductible. If not, we'll do the claim with FEMA. There's no need to wait. If you want to do something now to stop further erosion and all that, you can.
Okay.
It has not had final approval from FEMA. If the soccer fields had more damage to the field itself, it would be a little bit more powerful for the claim, but with the utilities being exposed and all that, that's what we're gonna go after. So we'll go after the creek erosion, which is causing the utilities to be exposed. So go ahead and fix it. You don't have to wait on them.
Okay.
Just document everything, take lots of pictures, and keep up the costs and everything. Then when the FEMA actually likes to come and see stuff after it's fixed. So,
Okay.
so we
And
go
they
ahead and
have
move-
been out to see it currently, correct?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
good deal.
Just take pictures before, during, and after. That would be awesome.
Okay.
Well, if that's the case, then if this is something that we want to look at and doing, as far as funding this dollar amount, what account would you like to see as far as the foundation or the sports account?
I think that one would be better suited to the foundation account personally.
Foundation account, okay. If that's something that we want to go ahead and move on, that was
Actually,
go ahead.
Sorry to interject. I just remembered this. In our, we do have a line item in our budget for, I believe it was construction, and it was 40,000, give or take. We had initially talked about kind of holding those funds out to see what needed to be done at the creek, and then whatever was remaining, we would use for matching dollars for the grant to resurface the tennis courts, which I have applied for to get the tennis courts resurfaced. Could we use that money, that 40,000 that's in a line item for construction, like we had originally talked about, instead of getting into foundation?
Yeah,
It might be necessary for us for it to flow through the park budget for FEMA also. Since the Park Foundation isn't a government entity.
Okay.
Brittany, I
take it.
got a question on
Sure.
this. It says unassembled. Who's going to install all this?
So Contact would bring the Ajax out, and they would kind of oversee or instruct on how to do it, but then we would need our maintenance crews combined with the road department to actually help put it in and install it.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's okay, Wendy?
I'm assuming. I mean,
Okay.
we haven't ever done the jacks, but
And I think they show you how to do it and everything,
Right.
so,
yeah. We've worked, did you go through Michael?
Yeah.
Contact, yeah.
yeah.
So do we want to use the, if we were to use this quote, do we want to use the sports account or the foundation account?
Did,
I thought she was saying
Yeah.
we needed to
That construction line item in the,
do the.
Okay, so you did. I misunderstood you. Okay. Well, then if we do that, we're in recess.
Back.
Out of recess, then we'll just we'll discuss that as a fiscal
and that would
court.
still leave plenty remaining in there for matching funds on the USTA grant if we're approved for that, so we would
Okay.
still be clear there.
Good there.
Do we need to make a motion as the park board
On that,
first,
no,
or we just do it?
because that's not using any monies out of the foundation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But now the other items that we discussed, if you look at the budget that the park has, there's some monies that, items that were used. And that's why we're meeting today, to pay some of those, move some of those monies over into the general funds.
Do you want me to explain that
Yeah.
a little bit? Okay, so the way it's set up now, we have a sports operating account, and then we also have the foundation account. And I included the front page of those statements on both accounts. In the past, the way it has worked is that our part of the concessions that come in is put into sports operating. And I believe the duck feeders and the batting cage money goes into sports operating as well, where the pavilion and the visitor center rentals, that all goes into foundation. And any sponsorship money goes into foundation accounts. Also, any ball tournament fees, things like that, go into the sports operating account. And that account had been used to do maintenance to sports fields. So basically exactly what it says. That money was used to line baseball fields, to overseed soccer fields, all of those types of things. So in an attempt to provide more transparency and have more accountability, I have been running everything through the general fund and our budget there instead of having things coming out of so many different accounts. So that has caused us to be over budget in some areas because things aren't being paid out of sports operating like they have been in the past. So really, I haven't spent more than they have in the past. I've just ran everything through the court instead of paying for it separately.
Yeah, the goal is to get those dollars that the park receives for that sports account ran through the general funds. Before I forget, though, on the JAX system here that we're looking at with FEMA, and I know you know this, if we do use maintenance or the road department, that we capture the cost and that is submitted to FEMA or our insurance, whichever one. So I just want to make sure we discuss that.
Do you have other bids on this product itself?
That product, I believe they're the only ones who make that. Is that correct? I think that's right. The other estimates that we got for different options to repair ranged up to $750,000. So this was by far a long shot the cheapest option. The sheet piling, do you remember?
Was that
It was
30?
just shy of 40.
Just shy of 40,000 for the sheet piling, which was the next closest thing. But like I said, that company also does sheet piling, and they said that this was a much better option for the area that we have as opposed to the sheet piling.
And this isn't going to be the entire creek. It's just that
Correct.
section. It's not to fix the problem. It's a bigger problem to fix today. It's something that definitely will have to be dealt with
Long term.
later. But this is an immediate need because of the conduit that's exposed.
And we're really close to losing soccer field too. I mean, one more big rain, and I'm afraid it'll be getting too close to that net where I won't feel safe letting people play on it. It's starting to give that much.
How quickly do they?
Within a few weeks, we could get it. He said they have quite a bit of that already manufactured, and I talked to him this morning, and they're not that far away. So within a few weeks, we should be able to get the product here.
Did they say how long it takes to install?
I had not gotten into that much detail with him yet, so
Okay,
Shouldn't take that long, I don't think.
okay.
We haven't used it, but I've talked to some of the guys that were in some of my classes that have used it, and they really like it.
Okay, yeah, some of the imagery looks like it solved the problem that we have. Redirecting that creek from years ago, it's just a straight run and the water's coming down and the concrete that's out there now is just bypassing it. So, I mean, it looks like it'll
it should
solve
fix it, yeah.
the problem for now.
And the guy that came out and talked to me has also coordinated with some people higher on up even than him, and he's been doing this for a long time. But he brought them in and showed them pictures of the area, and they all agreed with the dimensions and the height and the length and everything that he quoted in this. So he had several people that specialized just in the creeks and rivers look at the project too before we decided on that configuration of the Ajax.
Yeah, Michael's the one that comes out and measures for our box culverts and stuff that we've put in the last few years.
Okay. Yeah, and that's worked good on New Harmony Road.
I got one question. You gonna be around the office later this afternoon?
Yes.
Okay, my area manager that's temporary assigned is gonna be in the office today, so we may
Okay.
run out there and talk
Sure.
with you and give you he can give more of it. He's a specialist in that.
Yeah.
He does mitigation and all that.
That'll be perfect. Yep, I'll be around
We'll
this
swing out there and
afternoon.
see you this afternoon.
Okay, good deal.
If there's no other questions on that, I want to make sure that we get this, that what we discussed as a fiscal court, the splash pad resurfacing, 6,400, is that right?
Yeah, it was 6,100 plus our freight charges. They were estimating about $300 because there's a lot of stuff to get in. So
Okay.
6,400.
And that's coming from the sports account?
Yes.
Okay. So we would need a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And then do you have a dollar amount to basically move from the sports or the foundation account to the general funds to cover your
What
budget?
we have been using. Emily, do you think, I'm sitting here thinking of 6,000 or 7,000 I can think of off the top of my head that I have had to do just recently.
Do we have to do an actual dollar amount or,
For that transfer?
yeah?
I would say, set it at maybe 7,500 as a maximum. And she can provide backup documentation to that voucher that would, they could make the approval to issue that money back to us now. And then we can put that actual voucher back through to you all next time so you can actually review it and see what actually was moved.
Okay. So we can put up to a dollar amount.
I move we transfer that up to $7,500 from the sports account to general fund.
So move, or second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to take action on.
It seems like those were the biggest financial things.
As we move into discussing budget for Park Foundation and for the general fund next year, I think that, I guess we need to all remember that we want to talk to the park board also, because I don't know if Brittany's talked to you all about what we wanted to kind of treat that account as an operating net zero account.
I haven't yet, so,
Okay.
yeah.
What we want to do with that sports operating account, rather than them having to bring us $50 worth of quarters out of the duck feeder, that they will go ahead and continue to collect at the park. They've got their system in place where they log all of that. Then at the end of the month, I'm wanting to treat it as, say, the sheriff with his fee pooling account. She'll collect all of those fees all month long, and then by the 20th of the following month, she will issue out those fees to either the foundation account if she has gotten money from sponsorships or rent. Were we doing rentals too? I think so.
We were gonna ask and see
Yeah,
where
we
they thought things
yeah,
should go.
we wanted to talk to you all about what we thought, but she and I were thinking rentals and sponsorships ought to be forward to the foundation account, and any of the other operating monies that were generated would be given back to the general fund amount, so that the sports operating account wouldn't be buying anything. They would only be collecting the money for either foundation or us. If it's supplies, that would all run through her general fund budget, so it just basically is a collection fund and then distributes at the end of the month.
And I personally really like that idea. I like the idea of it being more transparent and having more oversight, and I just think that that's a better practice in general. So I'm a big fan of that proposal to run the funds that way.
And
Yeah.
we haven't gotten into the details of how they do that, but I would recommend that us look at maybe making a policy for the Park Foundation and we probably need to change it from sports operating account to something else, a different name, but to give them structure as to making sure you have two people sign off on a deposit or something like that, to give them some structure to go
Yes.
by.
What we don't want is we don't want cash in a hand with no accountability. And we've had that in practice, and moving forward, we said, that's gonna stop. So how we're gonna make that work is what we need to figure out. Now, this foundation that, we're the board right now, but this foundation, we're eventually gonna dissolve it. We have another foundation that is being created, but we won't get the final paperwork until after tax season. So that's why this board has not been dissolved yet. So we've kept it open until we get the other foundation in order. And then once that's in place, this foundation will be dissolved, so that we can, it was a lot easier. That was the way it was explained to me, was that it's a lot easier just to create the new foundation, because the old foundation, I remember when Dennis came in, we had to file paperwork. It wasn't kept up. I mean, there was a lot of discrepancies there. So it's just shoring up those ends, and it's taken this much time, and we're going to have to finish that. So that's where we're at as a fiscal court. We moved it under the fiscal court to have accountability and oversight on those accounts. So, any other questions? Or
Y'all got anything for me?
keep doing what you're doing. I mean, that's doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Congratulations, Park Board, now that you know you're on the Park Board.
I still want my hat.
All right, we need to go back into fiscal court, so we'll, let's see, as far as the park board, do we need to make a motion to come out of the park board mode? All right, we need a motion to.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll call fiscal court back to order. One item that we need to take action on or discuss is the quote that we just heard from Brittany to use those dollars in that construction line under the general funds. We would need action as a fiscal court to move on that $17,000 quote for those repairs.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And I just want to point out our next regular scheduled fiscal court meeting is April 16th.